So I wanted to make this video for a few reasons. First and foremost, and the predominant reason, is Jason Schreier, the person that was doing the majority of the Fallout 4 multiplayer leaks, has actually issued somewhat of a retraction, deleting some of his previous tweets as well as posting on Reddit that I would say almost pivots the way he was going. In addition, I made a video today saying, or kind of raising the idea or the question that Bethesda may have somewhat misled us with their Fallout 76 trailer, and the fact that they're accepting pre-orders following the release of that trailer is kind of messed up. I think with that video, I may put a little bit too much stock in Jason and in my own way fucked up. And yeah, those are the two things I kind of want to address in this video. So first and foremost, let's actually look at the tweet Jason deleted. This was something that I kind of emphasized heavily in all of my videos covering this Fallout 76 multiplayer leak. So again, you can't find this anywhere on his Twitter anymore, but of course I do have it screenshotted as I used it in a video, and it says, "I think it's really important to reiterate this. Anyone who spends the next 2 weeks expecting Fallout 76 to be a new traditional single-player RPG will be very disappointed." So I found this to be pretty much the most damning out of all of the leaks, because seemingly here Jason is someone who has a greater context than all of us. He knows a bit more or a lot more about Fallout 76. Perhaps he has some behind-the-scenes knowledge about how the game's actually going to play and things like that. And this statement, and the reason it really rubbed me the wrong way, was it seemed like, alright, it's not going to just be co-op is an optional addition to this game, it's actually going to be fundamentally different. Because I think based off of this statement, it follows that if you go in expecting a single player game and you're going to be disappointed, that means Fallout 76 is going to be fundamentally different. My takeaway from this tweet was, if you wanted that traditional single player Fallout experience, Fallout 76 would not give you it exactly. It would give you a modified version of it. So again, I think this is where I really screwed up. I put way too much stock into this guy, and I'll kind of explain a little bit as to why. First and foremost, he had multiple correct leaks. Obviously, he somewhat predicted the fact that it's not just going to be a Fallout 3 Anniversary remaster in the time between seeing the teaser image and actually seeing the full reveal trailer. But in addition, I actually looked up some of his track record, and he was correct multiple times about previous games, as well as he was actually leaking documents about the game years ahead of time. I viewed him as a reputable source in the gaming industry, and I did my due diligence. I actually checked out his background, and he has an incredible accuracy rate on video game leaks. And I think it's largely for that reason I put way too much stock into this exact tweet. This statement in particular led me to form my opinion about Fallout 76, which obviously probably wasn't right. So obviously now he has retracted that tweet or deleted it, as well as issued a new statement. His new statement is definitely different, and it definitely changes my viewpoint. In his Reddit post, he actually says, "I think that in retrospect, I shouldn't have tweeted that anyone expecting a traditional single-player Fallout will be very disappointed. Really, I should have said that they'll be very surprised. I wanted and still want to make sure people's expectations are calibrated accordingly." So this in my eyes totally flips the switch. One of my big critiques about Bethesda in their actual reveal is, if Fallout 76 is going to be fundamentally multiplayer and they're accepting pre-orders, they should have showed that off in the trailer in some way. But if it's really just going to be like an optional co-op, similar to how settlement building in Fallout 4 was there, and it was a cool and expansive system, but again, technically totally optional, if it's anything like that where you don't have to participate in these new features and you could just play Fallout 4 normally, then I think Bethesda's totally fine. And again, I think it was just simply my bad for putting way too much stock into this guy's statements, and now obviously with the retraction, my viewpoint is quite substantially changed, which I think this was almost a bit of a revelation to me. I didn't even realize up until this point how much of my opinion was based on that singular tweet, which is just idiotic in hindsight. So again, I really messed up here. I'm sorry. Obviously, I must have misled some of you in the process who I'm your primary source on this news. That's why I want to kind of just get this video out right away. Depending on the reaction to this and my previous one, I'll probably pull the last video. I know some people like to have that stuff up as evidence, but if nothing else, I'll at least pin a comment with the link to this video in that video. So honestly, this gets me way more excited for Fallout 76, which is kind of sad. Again, just kind of reiterating that same point, I put way too much stock into this guy's predictions. But what I want personally from this game is the traditional Fallout experience. I want to just have the new thing in this game being that it's going to be 25 years after the bombs dropped. It's a totally unexplored time period in the Fallout franchise, and even though a few DLCs have gotten close to that, I think it could be really cool if they handle it right. Maybe the world space will be very different because things hypothetically will be significantly more ravaged. There'll be more scavengers. Major factions will only just be getting set up, and I hope we get to experience that. If they tack on base building as a major component and they tack on multiplayer, more power to them. I'm excited to get to experience what that's going to be. Obviously, we're going to find out the answers to all of this in just a week's time, so we're going to all wait patiently. I actually have a few more videos coming over the next few days breaking down some more factual based things, not really based based on the leaks, which factions and creatures we can expect to see in this game, because obviously the time period and location really changes things up for the Fallout franchise. And in addition to that, actually some potential locations we could see in the game, super notable places from West Virginia and the greater DC region that are likely to appear. Again, West Virginia is a pretty obscure state. I don't know a ton about it just off the top of my head, so I think that could be a really interesting video. Either way, I'm sorry to all of those of you who I've misled. Again, hopefully this can serve as somewhat as an apology, a correction, and obviously just telling you about what's happening. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.